Remember the last time that you felt really, really passionate about something? It could have just been a few minutes ago. It could have been a few years ago. Take a moment to feel into exactly what that feels like and the resonance in your body and how many different aspects of your life that also impacts. And then imagine, like, what if your entire life could just vibrate at that level of enthusiasm and passion, and all of the ways that that trickles out into all of the different areas of your life. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Avital. I'm known as a healing breakthrough facilitator for helping people feel more boundless energy, more absolute happiness, and more true success in all of the endeavors that they're aiming to go out for. This morning, I was interviewed in a podcast. We were actually talking about my full-bodied success mastery tips from my book, Healing Happens, Stories of Healing Against All Odds. And the first one is about reason to live. And what we've noticed is that somehow the people who are surviving terminal diagnoses are the ones who really feel there's something to live for, whether it's watching their kids walk down the aisle, watching their grandkids grow up, finishing watching a soap opera series. That's one of my favorite ones. So the reason doesn't necessarily matter, but the point is that there's some sort of passion, some sort of reason for being here on Earth. And I just posed the question on a couple of my Facebook pages, which is, what is your purpose in life? Do you live your life designed around that purpose? And of course, there's all these philosophical answers to that. Is that really something we choose? Is that something given to us? Like, does it really matter? And I'm going to say yes, in the sense that it really matters, no matter how philosophical you want to get, because there's still a reason that you're here. Otherwise, you wouldn't still be here, right? And so what is that driver? What is that top thing? And there could be more than one thing, but typically think of what is the one top thing or the category that all of those things could fit into that really gives you the sense of purpose as to what you're doing here and how you're going to make the most of this life. So after we talked about reason to live in the podcast interview, the interviewer, which is Joshua Graham, he's a wonderful coach based out in Toronto. And what he also asked was, well, how do people discover their purpose? So 3 easy steps that you can consider to really discover your purpose. I hear people ask this question a lot, and I've noticed that this really helps others. This has helped me. And the first thing I'm going to say is this step doesn't apply to everyone, but if you think that you have not experienced enough in life yet to get enough ideas as to what your purpose can be, then your first step is to go out there and just do a bunch of things. So let's say either you're young or you've been very focused on one path and you're starting to feel like this isn't for me, but what is it? So that's for you, is to just go and experience as many things as possible, read as many things, try as many things, talk to people, just to start to get all of these ideas and triggers out there. But while you're doing that, just pay attention to what you enjoy and pay attention to where you're most successful. And then I'll give you another tip on that in just a moment. So that's number 1, is called do. That's what I want to say. Number 1 is do. So number 2 is sit. After we do, we sit. And that's a little prelude to an upcoming book that I'm going to be working on, which right now is called Sit and Succeed. But here's the deal, is a lot of what we're doing in life is sort of actually like taking breaks sometimes from our purpose. It might not all directly feed into our purpose. Those little moments where we're watching a movie, where we're taking a walk, where we're going on a vacation. Some of them, yes, they are part of our purpose, or we embody our purpose while we do it, but sometimes it's just a break. And a lot of our life is spent actually taking breaks from that purpose. And those of you who are feeling like you could have more passion in your life, then this is really meant for you, is to actually take a break from all of those things. Not if it's going to depress you. This isn't the time to do that, right? And a lot of you know, because a lot of you have been stuck at home, so you know whether or not sitting and doing nothing is for you right now. But if you're really looking at like, what is my purpose? What is the deeper essence of what I'm going for? If you remove all those distractions that normally happen in life, it's going to be a lot easier to see this. I'm guessing a lot of you coming out of the pandemic have already done this and already made changes in your life accordingly, or are ready to, as we enter the world and go into a new normal for how we're going to live in life. And when you remove distractions, like ideally, if you're going to take this to the extreme, then you're going to be in a space where you're not reading any social media, you're not on the phone connecting with people. All you are literally doing is sitting, eating, sleeping, and going to the bathroom. So like literally the necessities and that quiet time. I mean, you can exercise, like the things that your body definitely needs. So if you were like out in a cabin in the woods, of course, you're going to have less distractions. That might be too much for some of you. Now, for some people, it may just take a day of doing this. For some people, it could take a month of sitting. And maybe you don't want to sit for really long periods. So maybe you just do an hour a day. And that's going to be enough for you to figure this out. But the key is the number 2 step, and some of you would be the number 1 step, is to sit. So we sit. Okay? And you have to decide, what is it? What is my purpose? This can be challenging because the perspective that is often around us doesn't necessarily match what we're really feeling inside is our purpose. And I love reading people's purposes who've been answering my question. And if you haven't answered it, the answer at the bottom of this chat if you know what your purpose is. But here's the deal, is sometimes it's not like I'm a farmer, I'm an engineer, I'm a doctor, I'm an astronaut. It's more like I want to help people feel good in all the little daily moments that happen in life. And they're just that person, I asked him about this. He's just always looking out in everything that he does, how he can help people. But he has a very specific job, right? But he could do any job and fulfill his purpose. And he's had multiple careers in his life as well, but he could fulfill his purpose within all of those careers. So that's an example there of just really taking away the typical perspective of what purpose is and believing that any purpose is possible. Anything is possible. Really looking at that passion. So what makes you feel passionate? And also what comes easy to you, because sometimes we also minimize it in terms of gaining perspective. We're not actually looking at what it could be because we just think it's no big deal. It's so easy to do all the time. Okay, but it might not be easy for most other people. This is a very easy example, but I grew up being able to do the splits. Now, some of you might never be able to do it unless you get a $60,000 surgery to restructure your bones. But the point is that I was naturally flexible in my hips. I was not naturally flexible in my shoulders and my upper back and in like my arms and all these weird arm binds in yoga. So I had to still learn how to apply the principles that I naturally had for my hips towards other parts of my body. And that's how I'm able to successfully teach other people, right? Is because it's something that comes easy to me and I can help people who it doesn't come easy to. So that's the key, is don't undermine something that might seem simple or easy to you. That may actually be the thing, like the biggest gift that you can give other people in your life. And I'll just add this, since I mentioned a lot of this is about service and what you're doing for other people. Your purpose doesn't have to be about anyone else but you. So I'll just put that out there. Like, if you are really meant to live in this life in pure selfishness, then do it and luxuriate in it. I think the thing that gets really hard for others when somebody's being selfish is, does it harm others, and are you aware of others? So it's just really good to be aware of other people's reality, or at least it's helpful. It reduces conflict if you're aware of other people's reality within whatever your purpose is that you're going out for. So there you go. Do, sit, and decide. For those of you who are finding benefit from this video, then please like, share, comment, so that other people can enjoy this. And then if you're curious more about my book, Healing Happens, then go to healinghappensbook.com. And then if you need more tips to find out your purpose, then you can message me. And you can also go to talkwithavital.com and sign up for a time to connect. Have a beautiful, blessed rest of your day. Thank you so much for tuning in.